Lots happened this last month. Of course, we just got over a successful homecoming week, and I'm sure the principals have all added a little bit of tidbits that transpired through the week. There was good feedback from other community partners that did activities during the week, whether it's the School and Community Foundation or the fire department or whoever participated. Got good feedback during their particular activities. In the last month, we've seen a lot of things happen. Of course, this is one of the busiest times of year for administrators. Accreditation happened on the 22nd. We were pleased that she was in and out in about 15 minutes with no big issues to come from that. We were just given last week notification of FSQR report that has to be done. That's our numbers after the first 9 weeks, and that'll be uploaded shortly. I think Ms. Bridget finished up the FBA audit, which is the flex benefit audit, recently, and got all the things that she's required to do as far as school personnel reports and things like that that guide many of the different things that we upload and do all year. Which brings me to what's happening specifically with federal programs. Federal programs, just friendly reminder, is all claims reimbursable, so there's a lot of things that have to be in place before those are approved, and of course the personnel report has to match those employees that we try to put on there. I sent you several emails over the progress of Saturday kind of talking about federal programs, so you'd have a breakdown and understanding of how that goes. Just a reminder that Title I has $320,000 in that pot. Part of that is because we had about a $60,000 carryover from that particular fund last year. Sped Ed, which we're busy doing, that budget will be done and submitted at the end of this month. CARES FY20 has about $84,000, and let me back up. The Sped Ed money was about $140,000, right under $140,000. CARES FY20, $84,257.24. It has to be spent by the end of this year. Each one of those COVID relief funds that were made by the feds all have a termination date, and they kind of go in order. So CARES funding has to be done this year. ESSER 2 that came out in the spring with a little less guidelines, or mainly because it doesn't we don't have to be so particular about how we spend that money. Has another year on that to be spent. And then ARP, or what they call ESSER 3 as well. We have $1.5 million in that particular fund. Keep in mind in the ESSER 3 monies, though, that 20% or roughly $312,000 need to be used towards remediation and towards students of low income that could have been affected in regression of academics while COVID happened. So, you're looking at all these different federal monies, and they've all been thought out as far as how to place those, and each one of those emails kind of specifies how majority of those monies are met. Majority of those monies cover approximately 26 salaries, and so it helps offset some of the different projects and programs that we do here at Kanawha. So all those different funds, though, have to have a plan that goes along with it, and in those plans we have due dates. The CARES FY20 has already been sent in, already been approved, and we've already started making claims about that. ESSER 2 has also already been sent in and submitted. and been approved, and we're making claims on that. Sped Ed will be done at the end of the month, like I said. Title I and ESSER 3, or the ARP, will all be done and submitted by the end of this week. Of course, tonight, a little later on, you will use two different agenda items to look at the plan itself and then the use of funds selected by the committee at the time. So I'll talk about that a little later. So just keep in mind of some of the other happenings around the district. I know you've probably all been sitting on the visitor side, but we just got done putting stairs along the north side of the bleachers to help offset some issues of the slope, and we're getting ready to get the bathrooms fixed. We've been trying to get those fixed for a long time, and they should be in this week to finish that out. If you've been to the football field, you'll notice that there have been some trenches, and we've added some electrical outlets in different areas, strategic locations around the field, so the field can be used more adequately for outdoor events. So we don't have to find plug-ins so far away and run a bazillion cords as we try to host maybe graduations outside or other live music type events like Meet You at the Pole or Back to School Madness or things like that. It gives us another option. The new scoreboard that's been purchased should be in Tuesday, tomorrow, between 1 and 5. And so once that's in, we'll take the old scoreboard and move it up to the practice field. And then Sooner State Bank has agreed to change out the signage that goes along the board, so everything will look fresh and new. So anyway, that's kind of what's been happening. I wanted to give you a heads up about what's getting ready to come up in the next month or so. So I've made a copy of the Christmas stipends. Let's see whether or not we want to accept that burden this year. And I'm going to give you another sheet to look at behind that allows you to consider adjusting that to help all employees give a little pat on the back for their experiences in COVID and the trauma and duress that every one of these employees have had to handle the last year and a half. So all those items that are on your table in front of you, you should have 5 or 6 different things out in front of you, which looks like the first sheet would be something that has the stakeholder meeting agenda for the safe return plan that talks about masks, facility upgrades, hand washing, respiratory etiquette, cleaning, ventilation of facilities, collaboration with contact tracing, diagnostic and screen testing, providing vaccination to school communities, appropriate accommodations for children with disabilities in regards to health policies, and coordination with state and local health officials and continuity of services, which basically means maintaining school during the COVID issue, this particular school. So all these different things were required initially when the state handed out the guidelines. And so what you have along with that is the actual plan of the return to school, safe return to school plan that has the highlighted areas that we needed to talk about. And then on the back side of that is you have Conowal's return to learn or safe return to learn plan use of funds and how that goes along with that. And I'll talk about that when we get to that agenda item. Other than that, we've been rocking and rolling, and it's like I told the staff members the other day in our staff meeting that there's only 25 days after fall break till Thanksgiving, and like 15 days after that or so to Christmas break, and half the year's over already. So it always starts off a little slow and tedious and stressful, and then once you know it, we're in a full routine, and that's exactly where we're at this point. Thank you.